Hi everyone, Sandy Trefger here. Welcome to my channel. This is the walkthrough video of my gigantic junk journal that I designed and created with the new paper collection from Country Craft Creations, designed by Jacqueline Hart, Petals and Letters. It is a fantastic paper collection just for junk journaling or for hybrid junk journaling, and I just couldn't stop. So if you can see how thick this book is, I'm going to go through it, show you everything I did. There are 7 tutorial videos on how to make your cover, your pages, and some of the decorating in the first signature, and then I used the basics of that to create decorating signature 2. So stay tuned. Okay, so as you can see, this is a very thick junk journal, and I absolutely love it. It is bigger than I expected, so I had changed the size of my spines. I should have left it bigger, and or maybe made 2 junk journals instead of 2 signatures in here. So you do learn different things when you do a junk journal, but this one will sit on the shelf like that, and it does have to be tied closed. But like I said, I love it. So let's take a look on the outside first. As you can see on the spine, wrapped through the front and the back of the signatures and the middle, I have all these pretty bits of ribbon and lace. Some of the lace I actually glued on to some of the wider ribbon because I love the look of lace on this. As you can see here, I do actually have lace tied in as well. Lots of pretty different lace and ribbons can go on your junk journal if that's the style that you like. So underneath the ribbons here is where I wrapped around my tie closure. And on the back, I secured that with this vintage doily, and I just glued it right down on there. I used the 3-in-1 glue. I pieced the cover back here by tearing some of the paper from the collection and just kind of layering it in different places like that. Then we have the spine here that's covered with a ribbon, but it does have the patterned paper underneath, and I show you how to make the cover and the spine in tutorial part 1. Here on the front, I used the burgundy artisan cardstock to wrap my cover. Then I used some of the pink paper in the collection in the Petals and Letters, kind of tore some of that and inked it, and then I did another layer with another image with these roses there on the top. I added a strip of lace, a strip of ribbon on top of that, 2 buttons. I cut out pieces of lace to kind of layer it in there, and then I put a butterfly here. This is a Simple Stories butterfly that I did purchase earlier in the year or last year from Country Craft Creations, and that was in my stash. This is a charm that I had, and I used a charm pin to just attach it to that lace there underneath, and I like how that looks on the cover. So that's the cover of the album, and like I said, it's tied closed with these ribbons that are wrapped around from the back. And then when you open it up here on the inside, I do go over a walkthrough in, I think, video 7, showing what I did in this signature 1. But this here is where I double layered, and then I took one of the pieces of patterned papers and I cut it with a gyro knife, and then I made that into a pocket so I could put tags from the collection, added buttons and some string, and then I glued some lace there. And so you see here where some of the ribbon is wrapped there in the front. And in this book, the reason I love it so much is because I used copies of actual heritage photos of my own, from my own family. So like this is an aunt and an uncle on their wedding day, treasured memories. I use flat back pearls on the paper to kind of accent stuff like this. And as you can see, I glued lace on several different, not all of them, several different pages to give the look of lace sticking out. And that's a great way to add that vintage feminine look to your junk journals, is adding lace, and they do not have to be the same. Stick out the same, and I just think it makes it so pretty. I love that technique. So then we turn the page. Here we left some of the pages, I just left the patterned paper the way it was, and as you can see, here's where I glued the lace on. So that 3-in-1 glue is great for that. Art glitter glue will also work, just won't dry quite as fast. So you just glue it along the edge. This is a pocket that I made with the pattern paper. So it has tags in the top here and things inserted here, like that's my dad and my uncle. They're in that photo. Here is a photo of my Aunt Annie. Inserted, this is a pocket made out of an old book page, and this is a tag made out of a layaway, pin on charms, bits of lace. I'll show you how to do all this in the decorating parts of the tutorial 1 through 7. So again, there's a page that I left plain. As you can see, this book does not lay down flat, so I kind of have to push it down to show it to you, but I do love going through the book. So this is a side pocket. I show you how to do that. This is photos of my parents, my dad and my mom. Bits of the paper, some music sheet folded in here, envelope folded up with the paper, some real music sheets, another side pocket here, pearls there. A lot of the cut aparts and the wording from the collection, the Petals and Letters collection. Another pocket of the torn pattern paper. This is a parchment cardstock from Country Craft Creations where I stamped images on it, and then I put these letters and things. These are just copies of letters, and I added a 49 and Market butterfly here. So check out, go to Country Craft Creations and check out the 49 and Market different packages. Even if you're not going to use their paper for a book or anything, if you're wanting to get into junk journaling, their ephemera packs, their rub-ons, their laser cuts, all of those can be used with different papers for junk journaling. Worked beautifully with this collection from Country Craft Creations, which is an 8.5 by 11 paper that you can just fold in half, and it's printed all the way to the edges and makes real quick and easy pages for your junk journaling, which you can see how I did in video 1, part 1. So this one here is held closed with a paper clip, and this is also the pattern paper from the collection, and I used it to make a flip and leave a place for journaling under there, but I do keep it closed with this paper clip here at the bottom, just like that. And then on this side is another pocket made out of some of the paper. I show you in the tutorial how to make faux Scotch tape that is vintage looking to really add to your pages. These are the roses from the companion pack 2 of the Petals and Letters, and so this is pictures of my mom and dad. This is I think a Tim Holtz or a Prima frame that I added in. So this page I made an envelope here that you can open. I show you how to do that in the tutorial. Added pictures of my uncle when he was in the Navy with one of his friends, and then when he got married, and cut out different lace and decorated it. Made a big tag back here. I show you how to make pockets by gluing the envelope down. Here I added a little bit of a paper doily that I inked. I made a little shaker pocket here. I do show you how to do that in the video and the tutorial videos, and then I just added in different old things from my stash. I love to stamp in my junk journal. These are my parents, and then this page I left just the pattern paper so I could add a photo there or do some journaling. There's the lace glued to that page. This one I just used a paper clip and one of the pieces that I cut out from the collection. This is a pocket from the collection. You just cut it out and fold the sides and attach it down. Then I added in bits of scraps of paper, some washi tape I had in my stash. These are my great-grandparents. I had to think a minute on my dad's side, and then I just added different things into the pockets, tags and everything, and there you see where the faux tape is. This side I made a pocket out of a faux postcard, added some stamping and stamps from the collection. Another photo here of a cousin. This is a stamp that I have. Added a card of buttons in here, I made a tag with some lace and a safety pin, and this tag here This is from the collection, and I just stapled on some ribbon and added the butterfly, which is a 49 and Market butterfly. Music sheet, and then this page just has a little, what I called a snippet made out of a doily and different things and buttons, and then this is the back side of it like that. This one I love. I used an envelope and altered it with masking tape, and I show you how to do that. And then you just decorate it up, made it a pocket here, made it a frame with the plastic or whatever that's inside of the envelope. And then this flips open, and we have a document in here. I'm not going to pull it all the way out because I have to finagle that. I hope it's not stuck. No, there it is. I was holding it. Made a little pocket out of the collection paper. That's a tag from the collection. Baby photos in the family. That's myself, and that's my brother, and that would have been my mom's little sister. And this is a cousin. So I just love all my photos. I downloaded them into Word to the size I wanted, printed them on copy paper, then matted them to the parchment cardstock from Country Craft Creations to make them more stable, and inserted those into my junk journal. And I'm going to start doing that in my junk journals, is adding photos instead of buying people that I don't know. I'm going to put people in my album that I do know. So this one I left this way. In the tutorial, I show you how to make faux tea-dyed paper with your inks and some stencils. And then this is the envelope that I made in the first video, showing you how to cover the ties of your strings if you don't want those to show. So there's those pages, lace on that one. And this is just a tuck spot here, more music sheet. This is my butterfly page with my grandparents, my dad's parents, some documents in there that are just copies. But I love using the 2-inch circles and adding the butterflies. These are the simple stories. Butterflies glued on the lace. This is just a simple page with a 49 and Market flower. Here's another pocket out of some of the paper, and you just decorate your pocket. You can do it easily with some washi tape. There's also faux washi tape in the collection, little strips of that, a bit of lace, a little bit of ribbon, paper clip with a charm on it. It's really pretty. And then things that you can tuck in your pocket like that. This is from the collection. And then this is one that I made by wrapping scraps of the paper around it. So just keep all your scraps when you're doing junk journaling. Keep all your scraps and go through it and use it. This is a velvet ribbon and a button glued on top. And then I used a bit of the ribbon here and made a little snippet. You could put something underneath there that is removable with that paper clip. This one I show you stenciling on the parchment paper. It is fabulous. I also stamped on the actual paper from the collection. This is a belly band I made with a different paper from another, I think this is the Graphic 45 collection, 49 and Market butterfly, some of the lace and the buttons, and then I just tucked items underneath there. I stamped on this music sheet, used some stickers at the top and bottom. Those are simple stories left over from another project I did for Country Craft Creations. So I keep all my bits and pieces so that I can use it in junk journals. I stamped and then added actual 49 and Market butterflies. And then this is another side pocket for notes. So everything's tucked in the side there. Underneath here, I just glued on some lace that I wrapped around the front and the back. So I'll show you how to make this pocket by folding the patterned paper over the edge of your page. And then just add snippets underneath there and things inside the pocket. And this page I did not do in the tutorial because I came backwards after, and I do that a lot, and did this page. So this is my great grandparents on my mother's side, and I just added a little snippet of some fabric and a little bit of lace there, some pearl on trim, and then a safety pin and a butterfly down here. So you can make your page as simple as you want, and this is a tab that I had already added on from the collection. And then on this side, because this is the ending of the first signature, and you see you could make a book out of just one signature with this many pages. Since I had space in here, this is where I wrapped ribbon around. I did add a real prima flower here. I made a pocket out of the paper, a tag out of parchment cardstock, and added some tickets that I had, and a piece of the pattern paper right there. And then this starts signature 2, which I haven't shown you yet, so I'll go through it real quick. There's not a tutorial on any of this, but it's basically the same type of adding the lace on the edges, making pockets, flat pockets, folded pockets from the collection, making your tags and decorating it as you desire with what you have in your stash. So this is the first page. I left it just the patterned paper, and this one on the back. And then this one I created a pocket. It is a flat pocket, so I glued it on top, bottom, and the 2 ends, and then I just added a paper clip. These are images from the collection, a bit of lace, a button, and this is a locket from the collection. So that just really pulled that all together. Real simple, quick to decorate. This one here is my dad and 3 of his brothers. I added a scrap of paper, this is another scrap from the graphic 45 paper, and then I used my tape to just taped it on to make it look old, inked the parchment paper, glued this lace on. I made a pocket out of lace, so you just use that 3-in-1 glue, which is available at Country Craft Creations, glue the 2 ends and the bottom, and let that dry, and then you can put all your tags, different paper elements you might have copies of. If you don't want to use your originals, this is a tag like this that I stamped on and added some rub-ons and stickers. It's another little element I had. And then this one here I decorated. That's from the paper, piece of the patterned paper, so I cut it into a tag and added their photo onto that. Here I did a bow out of the seam binding ribbon, added this pretty button and some of the 49 and Market flowers out of their laser cuts. So on this music sheet, I used some rub-ons. Rub-ons are fabulous in junk journals. I'll just say that. You get the images, you can put it on your vintage old papers. It doesn't add any thickness. These are 49 and Market from, I think, a 49 and Market sale from Country Craft Creations. And then I simply glued a piece of lace on the corner there with that 3-in-1 glue, and it's on there good. It's not going anywhere. It dries clear. And then I flipped it over, and then here from the inside I decided to make it look like these pages were taped together. They're not really, they're sewn in, but here I used 2 pieces of my faux Scotch tape, clear tape, a piece of the scrap of paper here, and then I added a flower on this side from 49 and Market, I believe, and then this is from the Petals and Letters collection, one of the ephemera pieces you can cut out, that heart. Of course, I glued lace on this page. And then this page, I love, it is kind of a pop-up, because bring that pop-up element in there. So I don't show you how to do it, but I can tell you how to do it. So I believe this is a 12 by 12 piece of paper, cut to the height that you want. This is about 3 inches, fold it into fourths, and then you glue this side on and this side on. You may have to adjust the length to fit. I then added some tape to make it look, I'm holding it down with tape. I punched 2-inch circles out of the parchment cardstock, and then I added a butterfly in each circle. And I love how that turns out. So when you close it, it closes flat. When you open it, boom, just like that. Put a tab here from the collection. This page is my grandmother when she was 15. It's a beautiful wall portrait that I have taken a photo of it with my phone and then printed it up. This frame is from it's a 49 Market from one of the collections I had. It was actually the packaging, so I just cut it out and cut the center out and made a frame out of it. So then I decided I wanted lots of lace on this, so I put lace in the center, so I glued it on both sides. Don't glue it in the fold. You want to be able to fold it. So glue here, got it down in the groove, and then glue on this side after I had done the frame and the picture. Then I added this lace, and the pearls, the word beautiful. I added the butterfly. I added lace on this edge. Have a tab here. I added lace here, and this lace added the buttons. And this is lace that I tied in a knot to make it into a bow. So it's just one thickness here on each end with a knot in the center, and glued that on. And I love that page. It is so, so pretty. I just really love how it all came together with all the different laces. So don't be afraid to mix your laces on your pages. This side here is the paper, the pattern paper from the collection. So I added lace on the edge and then ribbon on top of that just to give it a different look. And you flip it over, and on this side I glued a different lace on top of the back side of this lace, and I love how that looks. And then this is just the pattern paper here. Another one of those faux coffee stain, tea stain pages I showed you how to do in the tutorial of the actual page from the collection. Then this one here, I decided to put it on this page. This is a photo of me at Easter when I was little. In my stash, I had this vintage looking Easter bunny advertisement with a little girl, and then this little thing here. So I added those on. These pearls got out of whack, so I didn't pay attention. I may have to fix that, but they're okay. I put pearls here and the little bow and a little snippet of two different laces, the little flower lace and this little lace. And of course, before I added all this on, I've had this one piece of lace that I glued down onto the page. So you can actually layer with lace onto your page. This page here, I made a pocket like I did. I just have the scrap, torn scrap. It's just flat. You glue it here, here, and here. It's from the graphic 45 paper. Added a bit of lace with the buttons. I stenciled the rose here in this section here. I used a paper doily and then a real doily from a stash with laces. A chipboard 49 and Market butterfly. A button. And then of course made a tag out of that. And so this is a little card tag with, I put washi tape on the back, a piece of the scrap of the paper from the collection, washi tape, lace, some stenciling on there, and then I put those little pink pearls on there. And then this was just a button. Let me see if it'll come out. There it goes. Try to stick there. This was a old button card. It was already torn that way on the side. That's the way it looked with the buttons gone. So I did some stenciling on it, added a piece of the ribbon, and just made a tag out of that. So you can keep all that kind of stuff to make tags. And then of course there's a letter back in there. And then I added the lace here. This is double lace on this one. The lace is on this side and the bigger lace is on the other side. And this page I did the ruffling of the seam binding ribbon that I show you how to do in Signature 1. And then I added a trio of photos. This is my parents and my 4 oldest siblings, and then my brother in the middle, and my sister above me, and then me. And there were 7 children, and I just did this one page of all of us. I stenciled the roses on the background. I added lace all the way down and then laid the photos on that. This is a sticker, 3 different buttons from my vintage buttons, and a butterfly. And I love how that turned out. It's so pretty. I think it's so pretty. Across from this page, that's part of the collection. This page on the back side of that, I used another little paper doily to make a pocket. I added some lace, one of the faux washi tapes from the collection, a couple of vintage stamps that I had, a button, 2 little tags from the collection. I added stickers on that one, and then I think that's from Simple Stories sticker sheet, and then pearls on each one of those. And then I glued down a photo of my mom and her younger siblings. This was probably before she met my dad, maybe a year or so before she met him. On this page I stamped some numbers just because I wanted to fill in that space. Down here I added a tuck spot, made a pocket out of some a card that I had. This is an oval that I punched out of a bag that I made my shaker out of in Signature 1. A scrap of the paper, just different stickers, a stamp that says Love Jane, lace, another sticker from Simple Stories, some pearls, and then just some a letter thing that I tied up the string, and this is a tag from the collection. So I just add a piece of the tape and add a paper clip to it to just kind of bring it all together. And then the back side is another flat pocket from the scrap of paper, another scrap of paper here for this layered look underneath the moments captured, a rose from the collection, a sticker from Simple Stories. This is a sticker, Simple Stories are for someone else. And then in the pocket, I have just a little card that I had in my stash, a little voucher, and this little tag I made out of scrap of the paper. I angle punched the tops and rounded the corner, and I just stapled a bit of folded lace and some ribbon on the top to decorate that. And this was the backing. This ribbon here from Prima was wrapped around it in the packaging. So I added a sticker here, just a little bit of that lace. And see how I wrapped the sticker around and just let it hang over the side, and then tied some jute twine on that, and then I just made a tag out of it, just like that. And here on this page, I didn't add anything to the page. I added the photo and then some corners I had from Simple Story stickers, some of the pearls. I clipped this clip on. This was my dad's family when he was the youngest. One more came after him, but this is my dad, and with all his brothers and his mom and dad. I did do some journaling in my own handwriting. The name of the family, John Clausen family, at the Marrying Tree, Jonesboro, Texas, 1912. So that just tells, I know the story about the Marrying Tree and why it was called that and everything. So I wanted to journal and make sure everybody knew that that's where that picture was taken. And then on this side, I made another pocket out of a sheet of a book page. And I did that in the other one. I showed you how to do that in section Signature 1. I folded up, made a pocket. I tucked in a cut apart from the collection, which I actually double-sided it like that, make it thick. Made a little tag. This is a little tag thing I had in my stash. Some of the, I think 49 and Market flowers. This is a 49 and Market butterfly that I just tucked in. Here's a tag I made out of the scrap of paper, double-sided to make it thicker with a tab, a little bit of lace, some string, safety pin, and a button. And then, of course, this is a tag from the collection. I did want it thicker, so I glued it to some of the parchment paper and then just tied lace in through the top to make that tag. Whoops. And I did glue down this piece of woven lace or crochet looking lace before I started adding the picture on. And then I just paper clipped this picture in, and that is me a long time ago. And then there's an envelope for this, holding the inside of this ends of the string in this signature. And these are Simple Story stickers that says love. Let's put that on there, and then added the lace. And this side, I just decorated this page by adding some flat back pearls where they are in the image. And then here I added some trim that had pearls on it. I made another pocket out of, this could be a pocket from, no, I think I made it out of these couple of scraps of paper, added stickers, some Simple Story stickers, a bit of the ribbon here with lace. Inside I have folded up a faux letter I made copies of, and then this from the collection, and this is an invoice, a copy of an invoice, and that just sticks in there, and I just tied some ribbon in there and added a sticker from Simple Stories. And then this is a picture of my grandparents when they got married. She was 16. I can't remember how old he was, but I don't know if she looks very happy about that. But anyway, I'm sure they just told them to stand there and take a picture, and they did. So this page, I like this one. This is another one of my favorite pages. It's on the parchment paper page. This is a Simple Story sticker. It says loved, and it has the two pearls. I added just a bit of lace right here, or lace trim. It is a pocket. I believe it's a pocket from the paper from the collection, but I folded the sides to make it thicker. I added this picture of someone in our family, and it's not my immediate family, so I'm thinking it's a cousin. She's not identified. There was nothing on the back. Of course, I don't have the original photos, so there's no way I would know if there was anything on the back. I just have a computer copy from one of my uncles. This is a little tab from Simple Stories sticker. This is from the collection, I believe. I just stamped on it to make it look like someone wrote addresses and names. I put a stamp from the collection on there, and I had the New York 1953 post cancellation stamp, so I did that. This is a page from a book. I folded it up, got the cute little birds, and then I add this little sticker that I had that I used on another page. Here I cut out some of that trim lace and then just glued it straight down, and then I added one of the roses from the collection. I added one of the faux tapes from the collection, another little sticker from Simple Stories, and then I glued a button onto the heart that was already printed on the paper. And then in the center, I made it look like it's being held by this washi tape. So you just glue each side, not in this actual center, so it's not tearing it. This page, I put lace across the top, flat pocket with some of the paper from the collection. Added this from the collection, Timeless Treasures. I glued lace on top, just a snippet of lace, a bit of that blue velvet, the roses from the collection. And then I made a big tag from the parchment paper, added a rose. I had some leaves from the other flowers, so I just put that in there and tied some seam binding ribbon in the top. This is just a square of the scrap of the paper, which I angled the top corners, rounded the two bottoms. I added a piece of the paper from the collection, another little scrap of paper, a bit of lace on top, and two buttons together to just kind of finish that up. And then this is from the collection. It's a tag that I cut out and put together, and then I tied it with heavier string there. And so those just go in like that. And then on the back side, I have my great grandparents from my mother's side. I added pearls on this picture. I just glued it right down onto the pattern paper of the collection. So it looks layered, but I didn't do any layering. I just added the photos, and then I added the pearls down here where they were in the image. And then this side here, I made a pocket out of the paper, and I folded the corner. I think I did that in Signature 1 and showed you how to do that. Then I added the roses from the collections, love notes, added pearls, piece of lace here, a scrap of the paper, pearls, and then the word cherished from the collection. This is a tab from the collection. These are rub-ons or stickers, rub-ons I think, from 49 and Market or Simple Stories or something. This is just some stuff that I had in my collection. I put two, like for February. That's a rub-on with a Cupid. And I made a little envelope here out of some scraps of paper I had. And then this is just regular copy paper here that I crinkled up and then inked. And then I glued some kind of piece of copy advertising on it. But before I did that, I glued two different laces, the thicker lace and then the thinner lace and then the copy paper. So I kind of made a lace tag like that. So it's different. So I like that. And then this page here is just a thin belly band from the collection. Also added with love here on the tab backside. This is just some stuff I had in my stash, like a piece of advertising. This is some things I had in my stash. This is a paper that's folded up. It's a Monet replica. I just thought the roses and things were pretty, so I folded that up. So it's just a paper. It was given to me. Someone picked it up in, I don't know, either probably Germany where they visited. And that's another piece from that. And this is a piece of paper that I had in my stash. So I just kind of artwork there and hold it in together with a paper clips. So go through your stuff, your stash that you hang on to stuff, and add it in. So then there's a page for journaling, another faux stenciled page. That one's just the regular paper from the collection. This is another flat pocket I made with tearing the paper, added some 49 and Market laser cuts underneath the paper clip and a little piece of lace there. They're not glued down, or are they? Yeah, I ended up gluing it down so they would stay. A couple of letters that are copies. Of course, glued the lace on with the pearls. I love that. That's really pretty. This I had in my stash. It's just tea-dyed, coffee-dyed paper that's been stitched on. Added the button. This is a pocket from the collection where you fold the sides, and inside there I've just tucked a little faux invoices, little copies of invoices that are folded up to fit. And then I made this tag out of the parchment paper where I punched the top with lace. This is already layered in the paper. 2 pieces here to layer it up, and then I added a butterfly with a pearl in the center to make that tag to go in this. So this is double pockets here from the collection, and that's plain music. This was starting to tear, so I put some of my faux tape on each side. This was some paper I had in my stash that I folded up, added lace, and I made it into a, I think I made it into a pocket. Yeah, right here. I can add documents in there. So I just tied it closed. There's nothing on the inside, just blank paper. Put another piece of fabric that had stitching on it and Simple Joys. Some of my faux tape to decorate that up. And this one has another little pocket from the collection. I added a scrap of paper, the key that I cut out from the collection, Happy Hearts. This is just a ticket, I think. Yeah, that's from the collection, from the Companion Pack 2. This is from the collection as well, I think from Companion Pack 2. I made a pocket out of the parchment paper and punched that with the punch. And then this is made out of a piece of the paper from Companion Pack 2 and made it for journaling, and added that bit of seam binding ribbon. So this one here is left the way it was, except I added this really wide lace to kind of bring that up on the edges there. I tied lace around here, and then in the tutorial I do show you how to make this pocket. I don't have anything inside of it yet because my book's really thick. Anyway, that is my walkthrough of my super duper junk journal, but I love it. You don't have to make yours quite this big. Like I said, I could have made 2 out of this. But I had a wonderful time playing with this collection for the first time, using this heritage line. It's the first collection from that heritage line from Country Craft Creations with their 8.5 by 11 hybrid junk journal papers. Love how it turned out. I can just let it sit on the coffee table or something if I want to, except I've got cats and they would play with everything. But anyway, I can lay it out and let it look like that, flip it through different pages, wherever it will stay open at. So it's kind of, I like it. I love looking at it, and especially since I know the people in the pictures. So I think maybe if you're not into junk journaling, if you will give that a try, keep it simple, just add bits of laces here and there and put your own pictures in there. It doesn't have to be heritage pictures. If you don't want it to, you can make it more modern, but just have fun with it and enjoy the process, because who knows, I may go back to this every now and then and add another stamp or another piece of lace or whatever, just whenever I find something that I think will be pretty in it. But I look forward to making more junk journals. But for now, I'm going to go back to making some mini albums for my next design team project. And I hope, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell, give me a like and a thumbs up, and be sure to check out countrycraftcreations.com for your paper crafting supplies. There's some great things that have been added to the store. A lot of 49 Market ephemera packs and rub-ons and things you might want to check out. Even if you're not going to use the 49 Market papers, but you think you might want to do some junk journaling, you want to add it to your collection so you'll have it to add into your book. Thanks everybody, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.